5 unlucky NBA players of the 2017-2018 NBA season. Let's start off talking about Brandon Knight, who won't even be playing this year, because in the summer he went out and tore his ACL. Now, back in the heyday of Brandon Knight's career, he's only 25, that's the crazy thing, but with the Milwaukee Bucks, I was a huge Brandon Knight fan. You know, years prior with Detroit, he was a laughingstock, got dunked on by DeAndre Jordan, was essentially a meme, missed a bunch of open layups with the Bucks, with the Pistons, and I'm assuming in the future wherever he goes as well. Open layups are hard, man. Everyone's done it. And one year he was even an all-star snub, which is kind of hard to imagine because of his career once he was traded from Milwaukee to the Phoenix Suns. Ever since that trade, when he was going to become a free agent, the Milwaukee Bucks said, nah, we ain't trying to pay you, son. And don't get me wrong, Brandon Knight's numbers went up when he was with Phoenix, but does it necessarily make him a better player? No, the Suns were terrible. The Suns are still kind of terrible. Getting better though. A lot of crazy, unlucky events have happened in Brandon Knight's career thus far in the NBA, and hopefully he gets better. Hopefully he can bounce back from this ACL tear, be traded from the Phoenix Suns, because I'm assuming the Suns want to trade him. They probably won't get anything of value for him, but hopefully it's a step in the right direction once he comes back and has a long, successful career. Moving on to other guards with unlucky knee problems, let's talk about Jeremy Lin. Because before all the bad luck, he was once a nice feel-good story. Undrafted D-League player who got caught up to the Warriors, played with them for a bit. Then the following year, the beginning of Lin's sanity with New York. Those are some good times, especially on 2K12. That team was cheesed. But unfortunately, just like Landry Field's career in the NBA, Lin's sanity didn't last long because of a knee injury. And knee injuries seem to keep following Jeremy Lin years later down the road. Last year with the Brooklyn Nets, only played a total of 36 games, and this year was hurt in the first game played in the regular season. It was short-lived while Jeremy Lin was this huge superstar in the NBA for what seemed like a long time, but in reality was like 20 or so games. I personally believed he was never going to be a star player, but an amazing, solid role player coming off the bench or starting on a bad team like said Brooklyn Nets, because he did amazing with the Charlotte Hornets playing with Kemba Walker as a 2 guard. So hopefully he can come bring that same energy when he's all healed up. Moving on, let's talk about Gordon Hayward, another player who injured himself in the first game of the regular season. Out of all the players on this list, this one has to take the cake of being the most unluckiest. Honorable mention to Isaiah Cannon. He recently did the same thing as Gordon Hayward did. Snapped his ankle loose, sideways. Done for the season. Would have added him to this list, but I just didn't feel like editing a picture of him that I'd only used one time ever. So, to Cannon and Gordon Hayward, get well soon. Hayward is on the path to recovery since he did snap it loose in his first game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's already shooting free throws, which is a good sign. Now, how scary would the Boston Celtics be if they had Gordon Hayward for an entire season this year to gel with the team? But on the other hand, how unscary would it be if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum weren't allowed to get all that PT they're getting because of the injury? So the injury to Hayward is a positive and probably a negative. Still, I wouldn't wish this injury upon anybody, not even NBA YouTubers that steal my ideas. Sucks though, sucks. Next, let's talk about DeMarcus Cousins. Now this one is super unlucky because he injured himself on a hustle play. A hustle play. I swear, watching NBA players get injured makes me never want to do anything athletic ever again. Stop playing basketball, never jump again. Just stay home, make YouTube videos, upload daily, probably stream a little Twitch, you know, have some bad body odor while I'm doing it, and ask for donations because that's Twitch Streamer 101. You're not a true Twitch streamer if you don't ask people to give you money to watch you play video games. This is all hypothetical speaking, you know, I'm not actually a Twitch streamer yet. I'm just a YouTuber that gets demonetized. But if you want to donate, I do have a Patreon account, patreon.com/Envyerz. I'm not saying you gotta donate. I'm just saying it would greatly help the cause. It would support the art. It would support the vision. Because I mean, what other YouTuber makes their own art in their videos? I'm just saying, if you want to do a good deed. But yeah, Boogie's injury sucks. Best player on the Pelicans this season. Don't at me. and he won't be making playoffs. Well, I mean, he will be making playoffs. He just won't be playing in playoffs this year, which is also, once again, sucks because he's never been in playoffs his entirety of his career. Maybe next year. Lastly, his teammate Anthony Davis. Now, there's nothing really wrong with Anthony Davis. He hasn't suffered a season-ending injury yet. Fingers crossed he doesn't. But I have him on this list simply for the fact that he signed a 5-year max contract extension with the Pelicans a few years back, and now he's stuck with the New Orleans Pelicans, and seems to be wasting his career there. Now, I know he's still young. Not every player can win a championship the same year. But Anthony Davis is never going to win a championship with this Pelicans squad. As long as Alvin Gentry is the coach, they ain't doing nothing. And as long as the management continues to sign bad players to long-term contracts, nothing. Absolutely nothing. It doesn't help also that he frequently gets injured and he's never played a full 82-game season. Probably never will. The era of NBA players, star players for their said teams, of staying on that team for their entire career seems to be over. I mean, just look for Blake Griffin being a big example. Signed an extension in the offseason, max contract, then got traded immediately to the Detroit Pistons before trade deadline. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Anthony Davis this year or the next year, but Anthony Davis really needs to consider his options the next time he's a free agent. Because there's two ways to play in the NBA. Chase championships and go to the playoff contending team, or remain loyal to your organization just so you could be traded that same year like the Clippers did with Blake Griffin. So it's one or the other. Loyal is only going to get you so far, and championships are going to get you in history. Huge thank you to Edward, Travis, and Alistair for supporting me on Patreon. With YouTube demonetization killing many YouTube channels, thank you for taking the next step to support me.
Think I need to gain, truly ain't a thing to me. You should try to slow me down. Camera's always on, it's a movie. You can never lose me, different cause I'm choosing now. I'm doing pretty good from a rookie year, feeling like Mike 85, and I'm looking fierce. Put the ship in overdrive, you ain't nowhere near. I'm a fighter.